Oh, there she is.
Here I am. Need a little bit more forewarning.
There's a chatty one.
Oh, yeah. So Tracy.
You're going to put me
be
to
less
shame.
about the food. When we drain this, if I could any sort of tray just to lay it out to steam out a bit.
Could you grab another one of those?
Any kind of
And
like.
Stephanie, maybe I'll get you because Ted's kitchen. Can we see if we can get a tray?
Yeah.
Fabulous. No,
So-
you can go with Stephanie if you like. You can see where Ted's kitchen is. It's quite amazing. Oh, you're taking over the Yeah, nailed it. That, even a flat one of those? Or are they similar?
Oh God, that's really low.
I'll tell you what I can see. Good morning, everyone, and you're very welcome to this Sunday morning at Ballymaloe May Fair, where we have a wonderful cookery demonstration that's about to kick off with the fabulous Clair from Tiller and Grain in Dublin. So the Tiller and Grain family is one united by the quest for food, excellence and happy customers. Love that, Claire. Founder Claire is a master of flavour and texture with a passion for seasonal local produce that's really important to you, that shows itself in everyday deliciousness. Claire, can I ask you a question just to get started?
Absolutely.
Can you bring me backwards before we go forward? So pre-Tiller and Grain, where were you?
Pre-chefing, I was a surveyor in property, and then at 30 I was like, I can't do this. So to my mother's joy, I left and became a chef, and then moved back to London. Started in Adelengi, worked in Richard Corrigan's, worked in an Asian place, Bone Daddy's, worked in Spring Restaurant with Sky, and I kind of now have a melting pot of all of those kind of things, and then brought it home. Yeah.
A melting pot of all of those things then with you thrown in.
Yeah.
Because it is that engaging part of you that comes to life on a daily basis through your food. And I say that because I've been to your restaurant and I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
And one thing that I love in particular, not only is it that seasonal fresh produce, but it's flavour, Claire.
Yeah.
And that means the world to you.
Hugely. I mean, I'm a big, so we do like between 6 and 8 different dishes every day with fish or meat or veg pots, but I don't like weak flavoured food, should I say. So if somebody comes into the salad and says, could I have a bit of everything? I actually say no. I'm very bossy, as considering you're paying me, but I like to give it 4 so you can taste everything, because if I pile everything onto a plate, you won't actually know what it is and then everything. So I pull it back to get so everything that's in it. If it's preserved lemon, you can taste it. If it's miso, you can taste it. If it's coriander, whatever the beautifulness, the ingredient that I'm using is, it should be there, you know. So I really emphasize that. Yeah, absolutely.
Not overwhelmed.
Yes.
Love it. And so today, Claire, what are we up to? What are we making?
So, as you know, super organised, Tracy, as the chef that I am. So we're going to do farro, a farro, fennel, kohlrabi, preserved lemon, Kalamata olive salad.
Lovely.
I'm going to make a very quick pickle here for the chilies as well. We're going to roast some of the Irish tender stem broccoli that's in season at the moment. and then just do a warm sumo miso dressing over that as well.
Yeah, love
So,
it. Like
yeah.
a starter, pop this in the
Sure,
oven.
yeah.
Little bit of seasoning olive oil.
With that, so I have been described as a goat, okay, so I like my veg almost on the rare side, like, you know, and I love my mum, I really do, but you can't cook. And so I can't go back to like overcooked veg, you know,
so the texture is really important.
Exactly, so about 90% of my veg is roasted to bring out the flavour, and on the al dente side, and you can see with this, because it's quite thin and small, if we put it in water, which is absolutely fine, but it just needs to be super quick. But I love a char. I love that flavour you get from it as well, the smokiness. And because it's so small, it'll take like 2-3 minutes to still have a snap in it as well, you know.
So lovely high temperature.
Yes,
and fully coated in oil?
Oil and salt,
Love
and pepper if you have it as well. So you do it for about 3 minutes on it as well. Thanks. And then, as I got here earlier, we have farro in boiling away here, well, on a light simmer, which I have, yes. So, farro is this gorgeous spelt that gets from France as well, but we have versions of it here, and it's not to say that it's a grain, so I will always cook my grains from cold to hot. And this is just one of my favourite things, and whenever I serve it to people who haven't heard of it become obsessed with it. My sister, like my family, everything. It's a really nice nutty flavour. So I brought that up to the boil and then dropped it down again, so it could take about 40 minutes. But we're actually probably nearly there on it as well. So we don't want to overcook that either, much like the veg.
Yes. So a light bite.
Yeah. I would say we could take that off actually now. Perfect. So that's been on for about 25 to 30 minutes.
Yep.
There is guidelines on the packages, but again, I personally like things with bite, with texture, not so soft. So we're going to take that out, and then I'll show you, we can lay it out in the tray.
Yeah.
And I'll show you what we do there as well. So this works cold or hot. This is a really nice, if you make any sort of puree or anything, you can make like a risotto, a beetroot puree, cavallonera puree. It's something that I do quite a lot in the warm dishes, but then we do it a lot in the cold salads as well. It works really well just because it holds its texture. Then these are the kohlrabis, which are coming into season now, which I'm sure everybody knows, and fennel. As I said, it's like harder to pick between my two favourite children, which I prefer more, okay? So I love both of them equally. I brought this one down, well, this one kind of got a little bit more on the trip to Dublin, but just to show you there's nothing wrong with it, like that we're going to take this side off. So this one was this one as well. So I will take those kind of gnarly bits off. I won't use them in the salad, but I will use this, and then we can use, maybe not these ones that I have, but any of the gnarly bits, these for the stocks and things that Aidan was talking about and all yesterday as well, all your chefs. This is the kohlrabi that I have, this is the kohlrabi that I've just taken the skin off, and again you can keep, so it's a bit like an apple texture, but super fresh as well, so I don't know if we want to pass them around. And I've just very lightly sliced them on the mandolin as well, just to keep, as I said, all the texture and bite in it as well.
So your customers come in knowing that every day it changes, and they absolutely love that. They're driven by that. Yeah,
and it's very much as well with every chef that's working. And just what I'm going to say on this as well, while the farro,
just into your camera.
Sorry, while this is cooling down, like what I like to do is salt, oil, and maybe even a squeeze of lemon. As it cools down, it really absorbs all the flavours and things in it as well. So it means that the flavour gets in a bit more than when you're going to dress the salad. There's less you need to do to it as well. Lovely. So I also do that with a lot of my green veg, a lot of the veg out. So I'll let it cook out more. That's why I pulled it out, because it's going to keep cooking. You can see how hot that is as well.
Loads of lovely steam there still. Brilliant, Claire.
Yeah, so, and it depends on who's chefing with me during the day. Like, I mean, I'm in there and I'm working, but it's a bit of a disaster if I'm solely the only chef in the kitchen, because the food tends to not come out quite on time because I get distracted. So for me, it's like, you know, one of the chefs could be making the bircher and it could taste a bit more orangey, or then we'll be doing the farro salad and it could have a bit more lemon. Like, I really give ownership to the team as well, because you don't want to be there is no recipes, which I loved when you asked me for my recipe. I was like, because we all work together. So I'm like a bit of this, a bit of that, and that's what I say.
But you've brought them on a journey to understand flavours and taste, and that's really critical. Yeah, so a lot of effort goes into that part of it.
I think the basis for me is that, like, you know, we use the Irish, we use what's there, we don't take shortcuts, we make our mayos, we make our breads. The premise of and the ethos is what it is, and then from there you can, you know, you can do what you want. You know, I'm very I'm nothing if not fluid in the kitchen, you know. So what we're going to do here, this is sumo miso. So miso is the fermented soy, and then there's loads of different flavors that you can get from it. I love this one. This works so well as a marinade on meats. It's marinated, it's fermented with chili, this one, but you can get barley miso, shiro miso, white miso, all of those kind of things. It's just so delicious. Hello. Yeah.
How are we feeling about this, Claire? Bit of colour?
So yeah, bit of colour, and then you can see it's almost all there, like it's going soft. Yeah. So that for me is fine, because we don't want to.
Brilliant.
We don't want to. Thank you. So again, in terms of the recipe element of this, you can see my recipes as I go. They're pretty fluid. So I've got sumo miso in here. I've got some sesame oil. I've got some oil, some rice vinegar. This is rapeseed. This is our Irish rapeseed oil. Yeah, so I'm just going to loosen it out with that as well. And then the vinegar, the sesame oil, and then some lime juice as well.
So all those layers of flavours.
Yeah. But again, totally adaptable, because obviously we live in a world full of allergies. Some true, some not true. But so if there's, say, you know, if somebody has, like, we can easily adapt all of these things through it. So when anybody comes in that has, excuse me, is gluten-free or has a nut allergy, like, I can normally, like, I'll work around it no problem, because, and when I was doing all those weekend boxes in, you know, the time that shall not be named, you know, it was very important for me to have accessible food, that it all came to the table at the same time. It's how I personally like to eat, is that all the food, nobody's up searing mackerel, doing things at different times, you know, so all my sauces will work. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, if you put the hummus on the broccoli, it's no big deal. Like, you know, the tahini labneh will work with something else, you know. That's very much how I like to work, is that it all works together, you know. And I do a lot of things now for outside catering, but I take me as in the chef cost out of it, and I'll do it for you, and then people can really go home and do it themselves. So I'm just going to let that warm up and we can see. So what I have in here, what I wanted to show, yes please, yeah, as well. So I like a strong pickle. So there's a 3-2-1 method. I go 2-1. I like a strong, like a pickle shoe, and I would eat it. So it has to have, like, you know, all that vinegariness in it. So I've put the same amount of rice wine vinegar, cider vinegar, like white wine vinegar. All of those vinegars will work in it. Now I'll just see that's coming down, if we can just drop the temp on that, because there's a lot of sugar in sumo miso as well. So it'll really, it'll come and boil. Don't stick your finger in there. Is basically the premise of it. So I have the same amount of water and vinegar in there, basically, and I have 3 spoons. And I really wanted to highlight how easy it is. I'll just move that off for a sec, thanks. To make just the quickest of all pickles, that will really change. So then we've got, so I put in about 3 spoons, 3 tablespoons of water, the big ones, 3 tablespoons of the rice wine vinegar, and then about 1.5 sugars. So as I said, my pickles are strong, like the aforementioned flavours. And I'm just going to let that come to the boil, and that's pretty much it done.
It's moments.
Yeah, it is. Now you can really go for it on this as well. Like, you can add your turmeric, you can add star anise and cinnamon, and I mean, I worked in some restaurants where it was brought up to the boil, the rolls were pickled, it was branded. Like, there's lots of processes in theirs, but the essentials is this, and you will get from it like, so this will what would be used, and you can put a bit of beetroot juice in for our pickled red onions, makes them really beautiful and pink. We've pickled pomegranates, we've pickled, like as I said, pickle a shoe. So there's nothing I don't really tend to pickle, you know. And then this is somebody else's knife that I nicely had to borrow down here as well. So you see this come up to the boil already. And again, it depends on how spicy you want your pickle or your chilies and things like this. But this same pickling liquor, if you make it, will, once you've gone through your pickled chilies, strain it through a sieve, bring it back up to the boil and go again. So you can use it 3 or 4 times as well. So.
And it will intensify every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this one then will have like a certain element of chili obviously in it as well. So you'll get like an underlying layer of that on it as well. And then it's very cost effective. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You could make it into a product, Tracy. Yeah. So that's just come up to the boil.
Love it.
I'm just going to take it off. And then I'm just going to put my chilies straight in.
And less or more, Claire, as in it's quite flexible on your own flavour and design on a dish. So you don't have to have as many chilies, or you can have less chilies.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's great flexibility in it.
Totally, totally. And the longer they sit there, so I've made that like very high speeds, that's like as it warms, always, I would tend to always have a hot pickle over it. There are certain recipes that demand different kind of flavours, which will break it down. And what it does is it takes, like with onions, the red onions or the chilies, it takes that real harshness out of it as well. Because you know, some people are like, I don't like chilies or I don't like it, you know, but it takes that real strong bite out of it too.
Yeah.
So it just kind of lessens it out. And as I said then, so once you're done with them, so I'll let them sit there and go cold, and then they'll last for, you know, 3 or 4 weeks, or as long as you don't eat them in the fridge. And they're perfect. Yeah, and that's it. Like, so 2 to 3 spoons, like the same. As I said, I like a strong pickle, so if it is too strong for you, add a bit more water. If you want it a bit sweeter, add a bit more sugar, you know, so yeah, the world is your oyster.
Have fun with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this now, I've done some kohlrabi in here, and I've probably given a bit much in here for this amount of salad. So I'll take some out. I don't know if you want to, if somebody wants to go around and...
Do you want to, there's a little chopping board out the back, and I'll give you my knives and we'll do little tasters. Would that be okay? Yeah, okay. It's so delicious and fresh there. The texture is so lovely as well.
In the kohlrabi is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Has everyone tried kohlrabi before?
These guys.
Who hasn't? It's probably a better question. Hands up.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've seen them with the leaves.
Yeah.
So these did, like they took a beautiful journey in a hot car down from Dublin. They've gone a little soft, so forgive, it's my fault. It's not the kohlrabi's fault, okay? Preserved lemons, Tracy, I'm going to talk to you about now.
Sorry, darling.
You're all right.
What did you say to me?
Preserved lemons.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. We can buy them. You can buy them in lots of places. Don't stress. I think at the beginning when we were having a chat, like the main thing for me about retraining as a chef was that I was always super interested in food. But when I became a chef, I understood that actually you can be way more fluid with things. It gives you way more freedom, because you kind of are like, I don't have sumac in a recipe. It doesn't matter. Exactly. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, nothing. It's not, we're not saving lives, it doesn't matter. So I think that's the main thing, is that people see preserved lemons and they don't know. So there are, you can absolutely make them yourself. So you basically cover them in a really coarse rock salt, just like this, that we have done, like in a big jar, and see in 6 months, like they're grand. You can see how they've gone now as well. And what was really interesting, I was in Morocco a few years ago, like these will continue to go, like they're really soft, it breaks down all the fibres. And then they'll get to a point where you wouldn't think that you should use them. And when I was in Morocco, I did a cooking lesson over there with two Moroccan ladies, and they were firing them into tagines and things like that. And I just thought that was really interesting, because we as society would be like, that's gone to the dogs, we're not going to use that. But actually the flavour is still there, and because they're so conscious of everything, they were selling like half carrots. They would just cut off the knobbly, the disgusting bits, and then sell the rest. Like, You know, they really were
perfect.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like, but if you now they are salty, okay. So we are going to give them a wash, and we're not going to use the inside as in the. We're just going to use the outside because the salt has really got in to the pith side of it there. Okay, that's too salty. Now, as I said, you can use it in a. You can use that into like your tagines and things like that, and just then. It gives the flavour and then eat around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't like just remove it like if you put in a cinnamon stick.
So start with small amounts. You know, if any of these
absolutely.
ingredients are new, go slow, learn to enjoy them, and then increase.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is just this is a strong flavour. And then if you buy a preserved lemon in jars as well, of which there's a good few people doing them around and doing great jobs. You know, the liquid, the brining liquid as well, a little top of that, you know, just gives, it just gives different flavours and it's just amazing.
It is incredible.
Yeah, so it's really broken down the skin. So this is like where you start, this is where you finish. And what actually we did with these is because I juice about 25 lemons every day in the shop because all of my salads start with that. We have so many of these squeezed out rinds left. So we just put them in, pack them, and then it's totally broken down the skin. Now it is a strong flavour. I like it. It's not for everybody. Maybe nor am I. So, you know.
Well, do we want to cut up one? Would you like to taste it, guys? Yeah, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ivan, can I get you to cut up? Good job. Everyone's happy with you. Yeah. To cut up some preserved.
So I'll give you this one. Well, I'll give them this guy here because this might be a little bit more palatable for them.
Again. Here, Gorge.
I'll leave that there.
Thank you, guys.
Now, I am going to quite smush this up now.
So a small amount goes a long way as a result.
Absolutely.
And that's key.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you take a bite, you're just literally going to take it the smallest little bite. Don't put this all into your mouth.
Because it can be a bit soapy. Like whatever way it comes with whatever branding Fairy Liquid did or something or Sif, it can give you that. So, but the flavour when you kind of, you know, use it over everything as well is just so lovely.
Yeah.
So, and again, you can't take out what you put in. So with things, I'd start on like half of this. And invariably, I will always go back for more. If I put in loads, I'm not going to be taking it out. If I put in loads of salt, I'm not going to be taking it out, you know. So where did my Madeline go? There, to the side. Yeah, thanks. So I love fennel and kohlrabi. You don't need this machine, and please, my sister bought one and took off half her finger. A knife is fine, okay? You don't need it. This is probably one of the most accident prone. It's just for speed.
And there's a guard, and you always use the guard. And if anyone was looking at home,
of course. There was a guard on it.
That's all.
Did you not see it? It was a fabulous guard. Fabulous. So I love this salad. I love
textures, flavours in there already. There with just those two ingredients.
Yeah.
The kohlrabi, how was it? Did we like it? Yeah, it's so good, isn't it?
And they're only just, so they're a bit late in the season this year. We've gotten, again, not like the farmers have not had an easy time with the weather, so they really should be in full bloom now, but unfortunately they're not. The same with the rhubarb, they only had a 4-week period. You know, the weather just was not good crack for farmers, as we know. And that's why, like, my menu will change. So somebody will ask for asparagus in September and I say no. Yeah. Again, I'm very bossy. Like, but I'm not going to not take what we have when we have it, you know?
Yeah. Well, they're your values. They're your food values.
They are, yeah.
Really important for a business owner as well to know what that means.
Yeah.
And it's easier to make decisions then. It's easier to say no when you know that.
It is, yeah,
it's easier to
absolutely.
When you know that.
I know. And actually, to be fair, I think most customers who come once they've had my food and allergies aside, they just let me off, which is great. Yeah. They're just like, I need 10 people Friday, see you then. And I'm like, okay, grand, see you then. Yeah. Because they know that I'll change things last minute. The broccoli only came in, you know, last week to me, you know, so.
Yes.
So these are Kalamata olives. I got these from Lilliput, you know, the guys in Lilliput, they're amazing. I love them. Some people aren't that mad on olives, but I personally love them. So what I love about this salad is that it's texture, it's strong, it's salty. There's something very grown up about this, because normally I have quite a, like I will have a sweet element in it, and this is probably one of the only ones that I don't have. So I just love that whole, you know, it all working together. Like, and as I said, it's quite on the grown up side of things. Now, so this is the salted cooked farro. So it's still a bit warm. And put that all in.
So a little bit of olive oil, lemon juice,
and salt
at the end to bring in that flavour. So another layer.
Exactly. So I would never cook in molten salt personally, like just because I can't afford to, you know. Yeah. So I'd always cook in like the slightly cheaper oils, the veg oils and the sunflower oils, and I would always use the slightly cheaper salt as well, because you're going to burn it off, and basically you're essentially paying for it to go down a drain kind of thing. So why would we do it, you know? And then I will always only ever dress my salads in nice oil, nice salt, like lemons, vinegars, all of those kind of things as well. So that's just oil and salt. And we have some lemons here. And as I said, the lads are driven demented in there squeezing lemons but it just makes such a difference to salads. Yeah. You know, to have it. And I think you can really taste it. You can really, and then I'll go in different directions. So I'll do the oil, salt and lemon as my basis, and then I'll go to Asia, or I'll go to Morocco, or I'll go, you know, but it all starts there as well. Yeah. Now forgive me, I use my hands quite a lot. You're forgiven. Yeah. We like what you do. Yeah. And then with all of the stuff, I always believe you need to have big bowls. You're getting a bit of everything. Everything's a bit different. So in this one, you'll get a bit of kohlrabi. In this one, you'll get a bit of, but you'll get a bit of everything in every bite, you know. And that's really important to me as well.
So even from the olives and our preserved lemon, that hit of salt coming in there too, really. The freshness then from the vegetables, and that lovely texture from the grain. Because that's what it is, it's the layers of flavours and textures coming through. Yeah. You're very thoughtful and precise about it. Yeah. Because it's a natural instinct for you to layer that up, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And it starts at the beginning. And I know I definitely have more access to things like having a premises and stuff like that. But even at home now, like it doesn't take a lot, like if you've bought your chicken, to pop it into a yogurt, salt, put some cinnamon on it, you know what I mean? It doesn't take a huge amount just to give it that like extra the next day, because you're breaking down all the fibres and things like that, you know? So it makes such a difference. I called into Clair's one day when I was in Dublin. I was getting the train back to Kilkenny, the real capital of Kilkenny. Yeah, it is, yeah. And I got a you're in Cork now. Jesus, you're fighting the two of us. I was here for 10 years. Yeah. And I got a takeaway sandwich. And I'll never forget it. I was dashing. I didn't have time to eat. And I went, I'll go into Tiller and Grain. I'll get a sandwich. And the reason I did is because I knew I was going to frickin' love it. Sitting on the train, I took out the sandwich. I'm like, oh my gosh. She roasted her own chicken, and it is slathered in butter and herbs, and the mayonnaise is amazing. Who knew you could eat so well on a train? Yeah, because that's what you do so well. I don't serve you anything that I wouldn't eat. Yeah. It's a very strong premise for me. So all my chickens are free-range roast chickens that we break down. So again, and I understand that there's a sacrifice in that, there's time. Yeah. All of that kind of, but that's what it is. But it should be, because if you're getting the chicken, why are you only getting the breast? You know what I mean? Everybody in a sandwich should be eating the chicken, the thigh, the leg, you know? Just don't tell them. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Like when I got eel in and I had to sell that to my customers one day, that was great crack. Yeah. So this is the salad here. Looks delicious. Would anyone like to taste? Shall we? Yeah, I knew it. I knew by looking at them, Clair. They're big Kalamata olives fans, yeah. And this is it then. So, and it's honestly, it's such a stunning grain. I really would highly recommend to get it into your repertoire. It works well with so many things.
I think I have some fennel fronds there as well, Tracy.
Oh yeah,
beautiful. My dish. Thank you. Swapsies.
Thanks a mil. I might get that back.
So these are the fennel fronds. Actually, I got a delivery from Sean Hussey. He grows these in his garden and he knows that I love them. And you can make fennel oil with them. And again, I don't tend to put anything on a plate that you can't eat. Like, I'm not doing it for the sake of, the
garnish must be relevant.
Exactly. And then we have some, he dropped in a load of stuff. See, it's good to keep your suppliers on side. So we have, these are the little garlic flowers, so he was using yesterday, because like everything they do in Ballymaloe, it just looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
But then if you eat it as well, it tastes amazing as well.
Well, even your background, Spring, Sky, Ottolenghi, they're absolutely into this as well, aren't they?
Absolutely. And it all sounds like I worked in this place which would be perceived, I suppose, as fast food. But what I loved about it was, before you got your pork bow bun, they had touched it, pressed it, marinated it for 48 hours. But by the time it got to your table, it was amazing. So that's what I think is what I learned in all of these. And obviously in Corrigan's I learned how to cook a lot of meat. A lot of meat. A bird within a bird within a bird. And that was nice. So that's one of them there.
Fabulous, Claire. Well, the guys, Nora's going to plate that up and get it around to everyone. And Stephanie's going to take a picture of the final dish.
There you go. Thanks.
Before it's devoured. So we have proof it really happened.
Thank you.
Fabulous, darling. Definitely have some. Have a taste.
So this is back to the sumo miso dressing as well. So this is strong. Like my heart and soul, it is a strong dressing. So you might need to let it down a bit as well. I don't, but some other people might.
No, we're going with you today. Yeah, we're eating it like how you want to eat.
Actually, I should put a bit of salt in here. And you know what? And you can get the heat from that already. And I'm going to put in... Yeah, I've run out of spoons.
What would you like here?
Thanks, Mel. I'm actually going to put some of the... this pickle as well. And I'll always use a little bit of pickle juice. Because it's vinegar, right? So all of my salads will start with salt, oil, an acid, a sweetness and a crunch. And there'd be the 5 things that I live by. So this is acid. So you have lime juice.
Is there a book in your future?
I don't know.
There is.
Let's see. I would love
the universe.
I would love to. Yeah, but that would involve me. Did you see how difficult it was for me to write 2 recipes for you for here 6 weeks ago? So I'm slightly up against myself. I'm not the only one holding my back. I would love to, because what I'm going to start trying to, and I'm really trying to do, is get my workshops going again.
Oh, yeah,
because it's, as I said, the freedom that I have now as a chef of understanding. You can do a bit of this, a bit of that. It's not so specific, and I think that's what really holds people back with food.
Workshops and flavors.
Yeah.
Profiles, layering.
Yeah, and just all of those kind of things. So this is semi-warm, semi-loose, and it's quite strong as well. So again, always have the big bowls. I did work with Sky, who's amazing, and it was all about the light, the breath, the air within the salad kind of thing. And as much as when you're up against it on a 14-hour shift, some stuff sticks with you, and that kind of does. So when you try and mix this in a bowl this big, you're literally just crushing it. You're just going to break it down, So
to be thoughtful makes the difference. Yeah.
So, and then that's the broccoli. So as I said, that was, oh shoot.
What?
I forgot your herbs in the farro salad. They're all over there.
Listen, the mics aren't on. They didn't hear a thing. They haven't a clue what was on there.
Exactly.
Perfect. We're back on.
Okay. Sorry. So moving on. We're going to have some tarragon.
Do not tell Darina Allen we stole her plate.
Yeah. So I'm just going to have this. So this, again, so well with beef, so well with fish, so well with the halloumi burgers, just so well. And this garnish, The sauce works with any of the green veg that's coming into season now, all the green beans, like all the broccolis, all of those kind of things as well. It is a beautiful one with the meats, as I said, as marinades.
Yeah.
It just, for me, it works anyway. And the fact that it's warm, excuse me, it really helps as well. And then, as always, we have the visual with the red.
Lovely pop of colour.
Yeah.
And flavour.
Yeah. No, they haven't been in for too long, these pickles.
You know, my brother and his friend came to Ireland there he lives in Canada. We
Okay.
came home to Ireland for a week and we popped into you.
That's right, yeah.
And you had mushroom stroganoff and these two big burly guys.
Yes.
And you had mushroom stroganoff. And I was like, Jesus, they're going to lose their minds. There's no meat. And the two boys were like, no, let's do this. Honestly, they wanted to lick the plate.
Yeah.
And the two boys said, that was exquisite. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That they didn't miss meat because the flavours were so ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing I don't eat except for bad food. But I really think, buy less, buy better is a huge thing. So for me, if you come in and you get like 4 salads of this, it's there is no, and then when we're using the red chard, when we're using the large leaf spinach, there's we're all a bit obsessed with protein these days, but you can get all of these things from it, from other sources. So, and then this herb here that he dropped me in is oxalis. You know oxalis? It's just one of the most stunning things that we're growing it here as well. There's actually loads here when I was down
like a
here.
butterfly.
Yeah, it is, and it's like a gooseberry. Like it's a really intense bitter flavour. And when I was doing a tour with Dorina about 4 or 5 years ago, they're growing it here somewhere. So I didn't see any. No, I'm not saying steal it. That did not come from me.
But taste it.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
So
you popped some pomegranate seeds on there as well.
I did. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I had them. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing. Like if you have stuff, use it.
Yeah.
And I say that with like nuts, eggs, allergies aside. I'm just like, it doesn't need to be so. Like there's nothing stopping me picking these beautiful little white elderflowers now and popping them on the dish. There's nothing like, why wouldn't we use what we had? So when I was packing up and stealing from my own kitchen / my chef's kitchen, I just was like, they'd be lovely on it. You know what I mean? Because they'll just give what it needs to do. So that's why I'm very keen to show people those kind of things.
Yeah. The versatility.
Exactly.
And you know what we have to complement your meal?
Oh, I'm excited. Yes. Yeah.
The fabulous Niamh Hegarty. Get up here from Be Cultured. And so this weekend, it was the first time myself and Brie were like, can we bring in producers onto the demo stage? Can we bring in drink producers onto the demo stage? And it was then looking at, the reason I asked for recipes was so that I knew what was going into every dish. And from there, I could complement with other people. And so when I did see the list of ingredients, not the recipes, from there, I was able to say, okay, Niamh Hegarty, you've got a space here. Niamh Hegarty, tell us about Be Cultured and what you have for us today.
Hi, so I make Be Cultured, which is a water keeper. So it's a fermented drink, which is a functional drink because it's really good for your gut health. But what I love about it and why I make it is because it tastes really good. And what is really amazing about it is you can make it very complementary to anything. So I got the list of ingredients.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, what could I do? Because obviously, like what you were saying, is that like you want each ingredient to sing, and when you're eating, you don't want to drink something that's suddenly going to like ruin your palate for what you're trying to eat.
Pull back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you want something that's fresh and it's just complementary. So today what I made is actually rose hips and gooseberries and mint. So
wow.
A bit like what you were saying, I was actually going to go out and borrow some ingredients, and I actually was just getting ice out of my freezer, and I found the gooseberries and
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
synchronized.
in my freezer, and I was like, why not use those? Like they are actually hedgerows. They're from my garden, So they are actually naturally foraged. They just happened to be frozen a couple of months ago. And then the mint is fresh in season, and it also came from the garden this morning. So that's kind of what I wanted to pull together for this. So you've got a nice tasty drink, but also nourishing your gut.
Yes, and you make this and you sell this. So Be Cultured?
Be Cultured water kefir. And we have a stand just in the woodshed
Can I try
right
it?
at the end, so you can taste this one, or we have 3 other flavours. We've got a ginger and turmeric mixed berry and a hibiscus flavour. We're selling it today, and then you can buy it online as well, and we're stocked.
We're happy. Yeah. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for making this bespoke flavour for us today, for the fabulous Clair of Tiller and Grain. And we're going to send you out tasters so you can know exactly what she's been talking about for the last hour. Clair, thank you so much for everything.
My pleasure.
Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Tracy. That's gorgeous.
How are our tasters?
Really nice.
Yeah, you need to do it. Here you go, Pet. We're going to chop this up.
Yeah.
And get it onto plate.
Please.
Brilliant, guys. And a little bit, you can even, there's extra sauce that goes a little dribble. I'll take you off.
That's like I had the longest.